Alright, Schlockmeister fans, I did Young Lady Chatterley last week. We'll do Young Lady Chatterley II this week. Let's check it out. Sybil Danning. Yummy. It's 8 years later. There's Mrs. Chatterley and her gardener on the right.
Especially Thomas the gardener. Lady Chatterley married Philip Carlyle of the London Carlyles.
So yes, Miss Chatterley is married, but that doesn't stop her from fooling around with the gardener, Thomas. Can't show you much more here. Well, the maid interrupted them before they could finish, so Miss Chatterley left, and he's like, hey, wait a minute, I got a boner. Bend over, baby. Enter Batman himself, Adam West. Apparently there was some Lady Godiva type lady who went bareback on a horse over the Chatterley's estate 1,000 years ago, before the real Lady Godiva, and he wants to prove it. He's a professor.
Oh, you're Lady Chatterley. You're just the lady I was looking for. I have evidence that supports the theory that Lady Godiva was not the first one to make such a ride. That before her famous ride in 1050 AD, some 20 years earlier, a lady named Cecily Makepeace made that same ride through this countryside governed by her brother to protest his mistreatment of the serfs.
She tries to get it on and again with Mr. Thomas, but keeps getting interrupted. Once again, Thomas is left with a boner, but once again, he takes advantage of the help. This guy wants to build a nuclear plant on the property.
Right here. All I need is your signature on a piece of paper and we can get started right away.
But what about the beautiful countryside and the villagers and the tenants?
She's not going to sell.
Dear Lady Chatterley, we can't stand in the way of progress.
Miss Chatterley gets a massage from her. It's a nice massage. I can't show you a lot of it.
And then he went off to college in the autumn.
She tells a story about how she lost her virginity.
At first he wrote me every week and then every month. After that, the letters stopped coming. I never heard from him again until now. It's...
Well, her first love is coming to visit and bringing along his sister. That's Sybil Danning. His nephew. And here he is. He's now a priest.
Well, Lady Chatterley, I've decided to...
Virgil has decided to become a priest, like Robert.
Oh, it's very commendable. You see,
There's a nice scene where Miss Chatterley takes a bath with a friend.
I really don't want to be a priest. I am in love with Elizabeth, Lady Cynthia. She's so beautiful. I want to marry her.
Since he has no experience with girls, she decides to teach him. And he likes.
yes, that's it. Now you're getting the idea.
What's next?
Lift up my dress. Over my head, Virgil. You sure did.
They went all the way.
That was wonderful.
Whenever I turn,
Mama's upset because he doesn't want to do the priest stuff anymore.
Virgil has refused to do his essay. I don't know what has gotten into him. He's never been like this before. It is her.
Judith.
She is to blame. I can feel it.
Cynthia, please excuse us a moment.
Of course.
Now that Virgil has a taste for the ladies, he wants all of them.
But you are still growing, and you are a sturdy one, all right. Here now, who do you think's gonna have to clean that up?
Later on, she tries to make it with the professor, but he's more interested in his research.
But the location was noted incorrectly. It was correct with Chatterley historian. Oh, this is a wonderful state of affairs.
She ends up meeting this other man.
I'm Lady Cynthia Chatterley Carlyle, Chatterley Estate.
Enchanté, Lady Chatterley.
And minutes after meeting him, she takes advantage of him. Not that he minds. Then she tries to seduce her old love, the priest,
You can.
Robert.
You're such a wonderful lover.
You mustn't say that.
Robert, we both want the same thing, for you not to feel guilty. I don't want you to give up being a priest if that's what you really want. But what there is between us.
Only took her 2 minutes before the priest let his hair down and started humping. Meanwhile, Virgil is so successful that he has 2 ladies in bed at the same time.
I know who I am.
Thomas the gardener makes the moves on Judy, the prude sister of the
But
priest.
also, and primarily, a woman.
What are you doing?
And we're about to see Sybil Danning's nude scene in the film.
This is an outrage.
I don't know what it is about the Chatterley estate, but it makes everybody horny, even the biggest of prudes.
Peace for the weary.
Can't show you what this guy's going to see in the bedroom, but needless to say, Virgil now has 4 naked women on his bed.
Explain what you just saw.
Getting laid has had quite an effect on Judith.
Judith.
Good afternoon, you two. Let's just go ahead and take a little walk.
Thomas the gardener told me how beautiful the meadow is at twilight. You know something, Cynthia? This wonderful fresh English air has changed it somehow.
I don't know why. That's wonderful.
Meanwhile, that guy she picked up is making the moves on her.
But you must come away with me to France.
The Count. I'm married.
Turns out they owe a lot of taxes because of King George III.
I don't understand. How did that be?
It seems there was a tax levied by Parliament at the time of King George III for money to raise troops in the war against the colonists. It seems your ancestor was evidently a pacifist and refused to pay his share. Consequently, the money is still owed, and we got over £1 million.
See a little squiggle around the edge with some
Oh,
purple.
Philip, what are we going to do?
It seems we have no alternative. We'll have to sell the estate and make what we can out of it.
Oh, no.
Miss Chatterley's heartbroken. Now we're going to have a reveal. The guy that she picked up.
I'm no Count. I'm certainly not French. I'm an actor from the West End named Roger Wilkins. Howard Beecham hired me to play the Count, to distract you. While his barrister was searching for a way to have you evicted from the estate. I overheard a conversation between Beecham and Twistle, in which Twistle said that the only way the estate could escape the auction would be to have it declared a national heritage, and it would be exempt from the tax.
How do you do that? You recreate the Lady Godiva routine.
The significance of this ride here today.
Yes, of course, I'd be delighted to.
Darling, it's the only way to save this.
The actress they hired to play Lady Godiva doesn't show
I
up,
don't care what your mother thinks.
so she's got to do it herself.
Riding naked through our neighborhood.
Oh, I won't be entirely naked. I'll be wearing this wig.
She does the ride, the place is declared a National Historic Site, the estate is saved. They live happily ever after.
Cynthia. Cynthia.
All right, we did Young Lady Chatterley last week. We're doing Young Lady Chatterley II this week. So, this was a sequel, and it actually is a sequel, more or less. Take place 8 years later. 77 was the first one. 85 was this one. Harley McBride is back again as Cynthia Chatterley. Her husband Philip is there, but different actor. She's the only carryover actor, I believe, from the first film. And she's just basically on her estate, the Chatterley estate, doing her Chatterley things. So she's living on the estate. Her husband Phil is like away most of the time, so we didn't even really see him anywhere. But she sleeps around with various people, including the gardener. There is Adam West, who is Batman. He shows up. He's like this professor, and he believes that the Lady Godiva story actually had something that happened previously. The Lady Godiva story, which honestly I don't think that's actually real. But he said there was a previous woman who rode bareback on a horse, and it happened to happen right in this Chatterley estate. And he wants to like research and search the property and try to find evidence that this actually happened. That would be like a national historical thing. So she says, yeah, go ahead, knock yourself out. Meanwhile, she sleeps around with a gardener and a couple other people, a woman. Monique Gabrielle actually plays one of the maids in the house. She sleeps around. She's got some visitors, including this guy she lost her virginity to. He's now a priest. She hasn't seen him in years, but he comes to visit. He brings along his sister, played by Sybil Danning, and I believe it's Sybil Danning's son also. He's a very innocent guy who's supposed to join the priesthood as well. But of course, she manages to seduce her former boyfriend, the priest, and convinced him to sleep with her, and he willingly agrees, foregoing all of his teachings, I guess, his religious teachings. Meanwhile, Sybil Danning is kind of a prude, and she wants her son to be a priest also, but eventually she gets pushed into having an affair as well, and then she's like loosens up a bit, and then she's fun. Meanwhile, her son gets a taste of some vagina as well, and he sleeps around with a ton of ladies, including like 3 or 4 at a time. Lucky guy. So everybody's basically screwing on this set. Now, meanwhile, there's this other guy who wants to buy her property to put up a nuclear plant. And he somehow finds some old thing signed by King George III that whoever owned the Chatterley estate back then didn't pay some taxes to fight the colonists. So there's a shit ton of money owed on this property now. And if she doesn't pay it up, she's going to lose it. So Adam West eventually figures out that, yes, this is where this Lady of Godiva type thing took place. And he says, you know what, if we recreate that event, the state or county or whatever will declare this place a National Historic Society, and it can't be sold. So they decide to hire an actress to do that, but then the actress doesn't show up. So Cynthia Chatterley decides she's going to do it herself. She takes off all her clothes, hops on a horse, rides bareback, and then it saves the estate, and that's pretty much how our movie ends. So there you go. It's just basically a sexy-filled romp with a bunch of people screwing around. It's mostly, there's a little drama, but it does a lot of comedy in this as well. It's just played for fun. It's got fun little sex comedy, tons of nudity in it. The gardener is played by a guy, his name is Greg Baxter or something like that. Something Baxter, I don't know, but you might remember him as Nick the Dick in Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks. Did that, I think, a year before this one. So there you go. Anyway, Young Lady Chatterley II. It's a fun little romp. I have nothing bad to say about it, really. This DVD, it's got like a bunch of Japanese or something written on the back there. Chinese, I don't know, but there's an English thing on the back here too. But the whole movie's in English, so maybe there was some Japanese or subtitles too. I don't know, but whatever. It's available, and I'll leave a link down below if you're looking for it. And if you're looking for a nude romp fest, whatever that means, check it out. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think about it. Sybil Danning, by the way, does show her boobs in this movie as well, and they're big and fun. Check it out. Leave some comments. Bye.